This is AP News Minute. Prime Minister Theresa May has narrowly survived a no-confidence vote in the British Parliament. The vote comes one day after Parliament rejected her Brexit deal by a historic margin. The U.S. military says a number of troops have been killed in an explosion while conducting a routine patrol in Syria. The Islamic State group claimed responsibility for the attack, which local groups say killed 16 people. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is calling on President Donald Trump to delay his State of the Union address, now set for January 29th. Pelosi cites security concerns due to the partial government shutdown, now in its fourth week. A memorial is being planned in New York City for the thousands of rescue and recovery workers who labored in the ruins of the World Trade Center after 9/11. The granite memorial will be installed this spring. Chris Havlick, Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
We're following the breaking news, sad news out of Syria this hour, a deadly suicide attack on a U.S. patrolled area of Manbij, and we can now report that U.S. service members were killed in this attack. The U.S.-led coalition against ISIS tweeting moments ago, quote, U.S. service members, plural, were killed during an explosion while conducting a routine patrol in Syria today. We are still gathering information and will share additional details at a later time.
We also have video coming in of the moment that this blast occurred. Before we play it for you, a warning: the images are extremely graphic and disturbing, but watch this take place.
10 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah.
You see pedestrians just walking down the street again in this U.S. patrolled city of Manbij. Here's what we know right now. Several casualties reported, again, an area where several U.S. soldiers deployed, waiting more details. ISIS has claimed responsibility this morning. We are also being told the president has been fully briefed on this. And the timing here, this attack comes less than a month after the president announced his plan to withdraw U.S. troops. We've got 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria, to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria, and then declared that ISIS was defeated in Syria. Barbara Starr is at the Pentagon this morning. And Barbara, look, we have not confirmed it, but ISIS is claiming responsibility.
ISIS is claiming responsibility. It is not confirmed. There are many cases where they do claim responsibility for attacks, and it turns out to be another perpetrator. Nonetheless, we know that President Trump, on his holiday trip to Iraq, had been told by top commanders ISIS was not fully defeated in the area and that ISIS was still very much present in certain areas of Syria. This area of Manbij in northern Syria, up against the Turkish border, is unsettled for any number of reasons. There's a lot of players in the area. The Turks to the north are trying to push back the U.S.-backed fighters in the area. They would like to see a zone across that border where there are no Kurds. Some of those are units that the U.S. has been backing. The Russians want Assad to take control of the area. So there's a lot of reasons there may be violence in this particular region. The U.S. has conducted about a dozen joint patrols with the Turks in recent months to try and bring some stability to Manbij. But this is the big uncertainty. The president now calling for a withdrawal of U.S. forces from Syria, not immediately anymore as he did initially. They are working on a withdrawal plan. This area of northern Syria could well be one of the first areas they come out of. So the question now, is there new vulnerability in this area for the U.S. troops that are there? Do some of the bad actors perceive that this is their time to make a move because the U.S. is leaving? There is no answer to that question, of course, but it's one of the questions being asked today as we find out, tragically, multiple U.S. military members have been killed in this suicide blast.
Blood on the streets, a popular restaurant blown apart. American helicopters rush in to help the wounded and remove the dead in the city of Manbij. The U.S. military confirming on Twitter that U.S. service members were killed. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant says they are responsible and that they were targeting the coalition. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham directly blamed the attack on President Donald Trump's promise to pull U.S. troops out quickly.
My concern by the statements made by President Trump is that you had set in motion enthusiasm by the enemy we're fighting. You make people who are trying to help wonder about us. And as they get bolder, the people we're trying to help are going to get more uncertain. I saw this in Iraq, and I'm now seeing it in Syria.
He urged the president to reconsider, but that seems unlikely because just after the attack, the vice president made this claim.
We are bringing our troops home. The caliphate has crumbled and ISIS has been defeated.
One of the leaders who most clearly does not want to see the U.S. president change course, the president of Turkey, who weighed in.
IS has claimed their responsibility for the attack, and this may mean to affect the decision that Mr. Trump has taken. But as I know Mr. Trump's determination about this issue, I do not think he will step back against this kind of a terrorist attack.
Donald Trump has been criticized by both parties for his decision to withdraw U.S. troops. His Secretary of Defense quit in protest. Now his claim that ISIL has been defeated will be openly questioned after this attack. But he's still not showing any signs he will reconsider. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
The White House announcing that President Trump and the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un will meet again at the end of next month. That's new this afternoon. No word on an exact date and no word on exactly where it'll happen. The president and the North Korean leader held their first summit in June in Singapore. They said they would work toward complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. But it was obvious that President Trump didn't get dictator Kim Jong-un to agree to a timeline, and he certainly didn't explain how he would dismantle his nuclear program, much less guarantee that they would. In fact, we don't even have a rundown of all the weapons that they have. And since that meeting, several private analysts have published reports showing that North Korean officials are actually still working on nuclear and missile technology. So why meet again? Rich Edson reporting. He's live at the State Department. Hey, Rich.
Hey, Shep. Well, they'll try to fill in those details of the very broad commitments that they agreed to in the first summit in June. The U.S. and North Korean negotiators have been stuck on getting Kim Jong-un to dismantle his arsenal, what Kim will get in return, and when he'll get it. American officials have had a difficult time securing details on North Korea's weapons, what it has, where it has them. Even Vice President Mike Pence acknowledged this week that the administration is still waiting for concrete steps from North Korea on dismantling its weapons. Officials point to today's meetings as a sign of progress. Vice Chairman Kim Yong-chol and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo were supposed to have met in New York in November, though North Korea abruptly canceled that meeting. Now Vice Chairman Kim is in Washington. He's meeting with the president. The State Department says the secretary has invited Kim to a late lunch after he finishes his meetings at the White House. Yet
the administration claims that it's made progress with North Korea.
Now, officials do. 2017 is what they point to. That's when Kim Jong-un was testing nuclear weapons, launching ballistic missiles over Japan, and he and the president were threatening one another. That's all stopped. Kim writes President Trump letters now. Though Kim is now demanding that the U.S. offer relief from sanctions. China, North Korea's most significant ally, is also pushing the U.S. and allies to ease sanctions against North Korea. The administration has criticized China for relaxing their sanction enforcement. So on the key issues here of denuclearization, that main issue, there appears to be very little progress more than 7 months after that summit, Chad.
Rich Edson, live at State. Thanks.